Rich, Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? Hey, listen, got a lot of ground to cover on this one, and this is probably going to have to be my last one on these, folks, to be honest with you. YouTube's body slamming me on them. There's some I'd like to tell you all the facts on this, but I can guarantee you they'd pull it down. They would. So I'm going to try to do this as diplomatically as possible. Going to be up to you to do your own research on a lot of it, but I'm going to give you the overview. Today I'm going to start out talking about who is this group that's causing all these problems out here. Well, actually 4 different groups. You have the mainstream media. These people lie about anything, and I'm going to cover that with you. Antifa. That is from back in World War II, back before World War II. That was a group that was communist Marxists out of the they were the military wing, you might say, of the communist Marxist movement in Germany. And they were battling against Hitler's Nazis. Okay, that's the fascist thing. Okay, they lost. Hitler came to power. The rest is history, right? And you have the BLM. Now that is something new and different, and I have been for the past few days looking at this from a different perspective, and I've been looking at what other blacks have to say about the BLM. It's a bit shocking. And then we've got the ringleaders of this whole mess, and that's the Democrat Party. They're complacent in it. They're encouraging it, probably helping fund it. And it is their big push because they really fear that they're losing control. And that if they don't take back the elections, okay, yeah, they got a problem. So let's start out with the media. And I got this gift given to me by the media today, as a matter of fact. You've heard them talking about how the COVID is running rampant. Well, they had a list of the states. 38 states, they say, has had a big spike in, COVID-19, right? Well, yes and no. Tennessee was listed as one of their big spike states. And no, that's not true. We have been on a steady climb with COVID, just like any other flu. It has dropped off right now a lot. But they're not showing that. They're only showing the high parts, first part of June. Right. I'm going to give you the corrected information and to show you how minimal COVID-19 was in the state of Tennessee. Seriously. And how if you're thinking, I don't want to be in big cities anymore because of things like this, how 150% you are correct. Okay? The larger the population, the more problems you're going to have. Period. Let's get on with this. Let's start with the media and their nonsense about the great state of Tennessee, the little dogs. They listed out that we were having this huge spike in Tennessee. It really shocked me that they didn't go after the governor. Truly it did. Because we've been fairly open straight on through this. Sit-down restaurants, things of that nature took a hit. But for the most part, it was all voluntary. Okay? If businesses shut down, they shut down voluntarily. Didn't have to. Okay? Yeah. Doesn't that suck? We have a governor in the state of Tennessee who actually believes in the U.S. Constitution. And that he didn't have the authority to say you got to go home and stay there. Yeah. Okay. Now, there is a grand total of 95 counties. Now, you'll find in a lot of the rural states we go by counties, not so much cities, because we don't pay much attention to the cities because they're nothing but a pain in the butt. Out of 95 counties, 36 counties, one of which I live in, has had 0 deaths from COVID. We were reporting 1, or I think even maybe it got up to 2, that the CDC slapped down as these were negative tests. So We're back down to 0. As a matter of fact, out of 95 counties, 36 counties in the great state of Tennessee has had 0 deaths from COVID. 0. That leaves just a handful of counties that were creating problems. I'll give you that list so you'll understand. Davison County, Nashville. They had 11,000 cases, 121 deaths. Hamblin County, which is a suburb, if I recall correctly, had 2,800 cases with 35 deaths. Knoxville County, Knoxville, Tennessee, 1,200 cases with 8 deaths. Rutherford County, which is a suburb of Nashville, pretty good sized city, they had 3,040 cases and 35 deaths. Memphis, Shelby County, and the surrounding areas. Now, there's some big suburban cities around Memphis, okay? Large population in that area. They had like 12,000 cases, 201 deaths. And Troutdale, which is a northern suburb of Nashville, had 1,500 with 5 deaths. Now, most all those counties around Nashville were just that. They were around Nashville. Maximum hospitalized patients in the state of Tennessee for COVID, as of today, 2,897. 2,897 people total in the state of Tennessee even had to be hospitalized out of 31,000 cases. Averaging about 6% of the cases actually require medical treatment. Out of all them, out of 31,000 cases, we have had 650 deaths, which comes down to 1%, which is what the president said, and the media was trying to take it apart for it, that's about what COVID's running, 1%. So when the man said, your 99% is going to do just fine even if they catch it, those are the facts. And the media today was lying about this, making it sound like, oh, these 38 states is just going through the roof, man. They're just passing away by the buckets. Well, I confirm this, one of the 38 states I can officially call bullcrap. Bullcrap. Now, keep believing this. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and the entire alphabet, NPR, they're turning into one of the absolute worst. Have you noticed that media seems to really be running amok a lot? There's a reason, and we'll get to that. Okay? There we go with that. Antifa, we've covered Antifa, that's who they are. They are communist Marxists, period. End of quotation. That's their philosophy, that's their belief, and that's what their goal is to turn this country and have a revolution and turn it into a communist Marxist regime. That's simple. Same goal that Antifa had in Germany back in the 40s and the 30s, and that they still have today over there working on the rest of Europe. Communist Marxism. Period. It's who they are. We need to start calling them for what they are. They are not Antifa. They're Marxist communists who want to overthrow your government. It's who they are. Now we get down to BLM, which I'm not really sure. I've heard two definitions of what the BLM stands for: burning, looting, and mayhem. Well, they had another, but I'll leave it to mayhem. Or Black Lives Matter. There is a large group of blacks who don't like BLM. Usually the ones that have to live in these black communities. These black communities do not want the police departments defunded because their murder rates are going to get even worse, and they know it. Black Lives Matter. Only if you're a criminal. Let me repeat that. Black Lives Matter only cares about black lives if they are killed by a police officer, preferably a white one, because that falls more into their narrative. They're a racist organization. And the two owners, or the original founders, have finally stepped forward and finally admitted, of course they didn't know they were being taped, that they are trained communist Marxists. They too want a revolution. Then you got the Democrats, who have, if you've noticed, over the past very few years, have run away so fast that even the voters that they had the last election are standing there going, "Where'd y'all go?" They have went so far progressive left that regular Democrats, regular Americans do not understand. Let me clue you in. It started with Barack Obama hanging Chairman Mao's Christmas ornament on the White House tree. Communist Marxists. That's where your party went to, Democrats. They became communists. They want a revolution to where they're in power. That's what they're shooting for. That's simple. That's what they're trying for. They have, I told you in another video about them trying to gerrymander the Electoral College by a group of states getting together and voting a certain direction to push their candidate on into the White House. That has now been overturned by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is not letting these states deviate one iota from the law as far as the Electoral College voting goes. You will vote according to as your state votes. Okay, now some states allow county by county breakdowns, things of that nature, district by district breakdowns, which is usually how it goes. But what they were wanting to do was like 9 states. We're going to kind of group together and wait and see if the popular vote was in favor of their candidate, and then have all their electoral votes go toward their candidate. Totally hosing the election. That was their plan. Supreme Court today ruled total violation of the U.S. Constitution would not be allowed. So if they pull it, understand what that's going to start. You got 2 choices, folks. You're either going to have to start standing up to these people right now, putting your foot down, telling them no more, and start pushing back. We're going to have to start pushing back with social media and things of this nature. If you're on Twitter, I'm getting ready to move my Twitter accounts, drop them, close them out. I'm getting ready to put it over on that parlay, whatever they want to call it. It protects right speech. Twitter does not. We are going to have to start voting how we feel about these situations with our dollars. Who is backing the Democratic Party? Need to figure that out. Find out. These corporations and these banks that are backing this mess need to have all your money taken out of them. Okay? Even if you've got a mortgage with one of them, start looking to see if you can't refinance with a better bank. Take that interest away from them. We're going to have to get real political here. There's no more sitting around, folks. They're serious. They're serious. They are looking to overthrow your government. They understand that Donald Trump in 4 more years can do them so much damage that it would set them back 20 years. If your children are in Ivy League schools or in any college that is teaching them this left-wing progressive nonsense, You need to sit down with your children and have a serious talk about it, especially if you're paying for it, is I will not spend another dime at that university. Get them out of there and put them in a decent school. For this to finally get ended and America to continue as America, we are going to have to end these institutions of higher learning and work our way into local. And these teachers that have been teaching, oh, it's okay for your kids to, without your knowledge, we will start treating them like they're transgender because that little 5-year-old decided he wanted to be a little girl without your authorization, without your permission. They have been taking children down to get abortions, teenagers, taking teenagers down, and I know this from one of my own kids, and getting them on birth control. No notice to the parents. Schools are not the parents. They're there to educate. Okay? And these schools that are allowing this sort of stuff, these administrators, these school boards, they all need to be terminated. Turn loose. Pat them on the head, say, happy trails, go on. And put people in charge of these schools who don't think it's their mission in life to turn your child into some messed up little commie, because that's what they're doing. Oh, socialism's perfect. It's unicorns, rainbows, and lollipops until we come to power. Then it's going to be boot on your throat, and you will do as you're told, little one. We as Americans better wake up. And if you sit around on your hands much longer, then you're going to boil down to probably a civil war. They're going to get their revolution. All right, and that's going to be nasty, bloody mess. You don't want that. I don't want that. Nobody's ever seen me or done any part of that. Better stand up now. And so help me, Hannah. Get off your knees to these people. You owe them nothing. Nothing. If they want reparations for slavery, haul your happy butts over to the continent of Africa with your hand out. Because they're the ones who enslaved you. We didn't come track you down. Okay? And the U.S. is not the only country that had slaves. It was worldwide. And by the way, while we're on the topic of that, what are you doing about the current slavery? I haven't heard BLM going over there talking to those people, or any of you. All right? You're not slaves. You're Americans. Period. With all the rights and privileges of a U.S. citizen. You guys got a president in there who's been busting his butt to try to help you out, and you don't appreciate that one a little bit, and some of you do. Okay, I can't say all. But the rest of you is going to vote for a Democrat no matter what little path they lead you down, which may be war. Oh, they'll tell you it's because everybody's racist. Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of racist people around here. Yeah, most of them have D's behind their name. They're your politicians. Okay? Don't buy into this nonsense. I mean, what have they done for you? Think about that for 30 seconds. What in the heck have the Democrats done for you? I don't want this to get real long. I'll probably end up editing the heck out of it. Because just so YouTube will leave it up. Americans, and I'm talking to all Americans, okay? Let's get together here and bring this mess in Washington, D.C. to a screeching halt and start trying to get them moved back toward their constitutional requirements. And then we'll have to stand on top of them for the next few decades for sure. Put them back in their place. But if we would quit this nonsense of fighting amongst each other, blacks, quit shooting one another, for God's sakes. You know? Clean up your act a little bit. You'll find people would like to help you. Really would. Don't want to see you in poverty. We don't want to see you on welfare. That's a lose for your families. That's a lose for the whole race in general. White and black. We got to find a better way. Otherwise, we're going to spin into a war. And that has a way of getting way out of control fast. Way out of control. Whew. Whole thing of it is we need to wake up and know that we're Americans and start trying to act like a unified country. I hate to say this, and it's going to tick off a lot of you Democrats, and you know what? I really don't care. One of the things that I saw back, I couldn't vote for the Republicans that they had running against when Barack Obama first got elected, but I lived in the state of Illinois. I knew for a fact Barack Obama had never done anything as an elected official. He was a do-nothing. He was always running for the next office. And the state legislature, he started running for federal office. He got into federal office, he was never there, but would absent half the time running for the presidency. When he got into the presidency, all the things he talked about, and there were some good things he talked about getting rid of the Patriot Act, different things of that nature, as a senator. He put it back in and gave it teeth, more teeth than it had, and made a temporary law permanent. So Barack Obama walked away from everything that he said he was going to do for the American people. I wouldn't vote for him a second time, didn't vote for him the first time. Because I kind of knew from his past running record where he was at. I did celebrate a black man getting to be elected president. I thought that was a good thing. Although for the Democratic Party has worked overtime to take and turn that into, oh, we're more racist now than we ever were. Really? I didn't like Barack Obama's policies a lot of times. It had nothing to do with the color of his skin. He was only half black to start with. I'm kidding. Relax. But the people that he surrounded himself with were radical progressive Democrats. And if you'll really sit down and be honest with yourself, he was the great divider of this country. He didn't help his own race. He didn't help the black race out any. And all he tried to keep doing was driving divisions in. That was wrong. Now you've got a president sitting in there who has actually been trying to help out and be more unifying. Yes, Trump says stupid crap. But tell me you haven't, okay? Or I have. We all have. He's got a strange way about him. Record low, historically, record low black unemployment. This man was trying to improve the economy so that everybody had a good job and would do okay. Nothing wrong with that. Let's wake up. Even though Barack Obama was black, he was trying very hard to divide the races. Democrats that came behind him have really been trying hard to divide the races and to try to demonize Trump as an animal. And the reason that they're doing that now is because they figure, well, you know, if the conservatives start doing that to our next president, you know, it's going to make it really rough. They don't plan to have one. They're looking for a revolution. That's why they're pushing so hard for it. We get it. You're living in one of the countries that everybody in the world wants to go and live in. They must see that we've got something going for us. I worked with a girl that came out of the Philippines. Now, she had lived all over the world. She'd lived in places like Qatar and so forth. She lived in a lot of the Arab nations. She was a nurse. Traveled all over the world. And she came to America. Married an American GI and came to America. Girl always complained about Americans. She said, a lot of hard workers here. Most of them are not. They're lazy. They want you to give them stuff for nothing. But she loves this country. She wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. You don't know how good you got it till it's gone. And if we don't stop acting fools, it's going to be gone. I love you guys and appreciate you, and I don't care what the color your skin is. Okay? I don't care if there's an R or D behind your name. Still going to love you, even though I'm going to disagree with you most of the time. And that's the whole thing. You and I should be able to sit down and have conversations. Yeah. You'll find probably there may be a lot we disagree on, but there may be a few things we do agree on. We'll go, yeah, why don't we work together to get that done? Then we'll work on the things we disagree on. That's called compromising. Right? And blacks and whites and Asians and Native Americans, and we might even be able to solve that problem. No, they're not going to get their land back. It's who you going to give it to, man. There's a long line. My grandfather used to talk about that. What Indians are you going to give it back to? The ones that had it last? Indian nations had been doing conquests since long before the Europeans took it up. You know, one tribe would take it away from the next tribe, who'd take it away from the next tribe, who'd take it away from the next tribe. Here you go. But give it to the last person that has it? Is that it? Is that the game? But they do need a fair shake, and what we've done to them is appalling. I don't think that the Indians want is a decent place, and us out of their hair. They'll take it from there. Thank you, please. Okay? Maybe it's time for, and they're not going to sit and talk to our government, because they know what lying pieces of, those guys really are. They've been doing it for centuries now. Okay. Let's fix this. Let's quit playing these stupid games. This is Rick, Tennessee Homestead. I do love y'all, and I appreciate you. And for heaven's sakes, if we don't stop this, we got to pay. Let's get serious. Take care.